My name is David Stannard. I'm a candidate in the Instructional Technology EDS program at Kennesaw State University. This is my Capstone Project presentation using Google in the classroom. The Capstone Project took place at Arnco Sargent Elementary, which is a P through 12 Title I elementary school. I am the in-school coordinator for special education. The student population breakdown was 74% white, 11% black, 9% multiracial, and 6% other, and 61% of the student population is economically disadvantaged. The problem that I noticed at Arnco Sargent Elementary School was that the students were issued one-to-one Chromebook devices, and they were using them primarily for just skill and drill activities. Teachers were not using the Google apps for education for instructional lessons, and there was really a lack of adequate professional development for the Chromebooks and the Google products, and there were very few early adopters of this one-to-one initiative. So my plan to change that is that I was going to increase the use of the Google products by 20%. I grouped these trainings into Google Classroom and Docs together, Sites and Calendar, Forms and Sheets, and Slides and Gmail because I wanted to teach them and how they related to each other. My plan was to design and deliver those 4 Google workshops and then create a website to house all of the training materials and all the reference materials that the staff might need to go back and look at, and then to evaluate the use of Google before and after the workshops using Google Forms, and then follow up with any teachers that had any questions that they might have. The evaluation plan, the way I evaluated this was the original plan was after each workshop I was going to do before and after a Google form, but I decided that they needed time to actually use what I had taught them. So I actually decided to do a pre-questionnaire in August and a post-questionnaire in March. So a form that I used is right here, and it was a comfort level, and asked them a series of questions about if they were comfortable using it, did they use it at higher order thinking, how often they use it, things like that. After that, my experience, the Capstone experience, is that I created this Google website, and it housed all the reference materials. And as you can see, here's the opening page. Up at the top, there's all the different tabs that they can go to see all the different things that they need. And I have some screenshots as I go through here. And so the first workshop focused on Google Docs and Google Classroom. And I focused mostly on some of the basics of Google Docs, but also some of the advanced stuff like how to create a hyperdoc. And a hyperdoc is a Google Doc that has more media involved in it, more links in it, can be a very engaging and interacting activity, higher order thinking activity for students using Google Docs. Classroom, I talked about the basic classroom training about how to create a classroom for those who didn't know how to use Classroom. And then I also showed how to integrate some things to Classroom, including those docs, hyperdocs, and how to assign them to their students and things like that. The second training workshop focused on how to create a Google site and use it in the classroom. I used my own Google site for the training as one of the examples, but I also showed them a classroom example that I had made. And then I made a tutorial for them, step-by-step tutorial that I'm just gonna shows them how to add, how to make a new website, how to add different media, how to put things in from their drive, how to change the fonts and things like that to make it the way they like it. So there's that video is there for them to reference. And then I chose to do the second workshop with Google Calendar as well, and I wanted to show them how you can integrate Google Calendar into a Google website to give to parents, homework assignments and give students homework assignments, and you can integrate it right on the front page. So I went through some of the basics of how to add these things in Google Calendar and how to attach things. I made that screencast for them for that. And then the third workshop focused on Google Forms, and I gave them many examples of Google Forms as assessments. I showed them some of the ones I had used and how to integrate videos, how to also use the add-on Flubru to grade for them, which leads to why I chose to pair this one with Google Sheets. With Flubru, it creates a Google Sheet that has all of the question answers and the ones that were frequently most missed. And then it's a good way that teachers can analyze data and inform their instruction. So I combined those two together. The final workshop focused on how to use Google Slides in the classroom, and I gave them some great exemplars, one of them from Catherine Applegate about the one and only Ivan novel. It showed how that it can be very interactive. It's a great example for them. And then I also gave them some examples from that I had used in the classroom. I paired that with Gmail, a final workshop, so they could use Gmail to communicate with students and parents, and how to use Gmail more productively with labels. And I also gave them a brief lesson about safety when communicating with students and parents. So that was the final workshop. And then at the end, after the final workshop, I sent out the survey again. So as you see on this, there is the fall, and then there's the spring. So the fall results and the spring results, and it's a little bit difficult to see in this PowerPoint, but what I will do is just break down the basics of the results, which were that Google Docs indicated that there was a slight increase in the usage by 8%, and then for Google Classroom there was an increase of usage by 14%. Google Sites actually went down by 3%, and Google Calendar increased by 14%. Google Forms went up by 27%. Google Sheets remained relatively unchanged, about the same. Google Slides went up by 20%, and Gmail increased by 20%. So overall, I think it was a very successful increase. Once I did the pre and post survey, I think I made a lot of progress with a lot of teachers, and I was pleased with the results. My reflection on this was that I really kind of learned about the complex nature of school change, about how difficult it actually is to train a lot of teachers on an initiative like the one-to-one devices and Google products, which was definitely an excellent training opportunity, not only for them, but also for me to learn to be a coach and a trainer. I learned a lot about myself as a trainer. Sometimes I go a little too fast, or I overestimate what people know or what they don't know. I learned that I had to differentiate for adults the same as students. I had a lot of teachers that were at a much higher level and a lot of teachers that were just beginning. So I had to kind of differentiate for both groups and so they both got the information. I definitely got to see a difference between the people who were early adopters and the laggards. Early adopters were eager, willing to go. Laggards, I kind of had to give a little more help to, and a little more encouragement. And then I helped a lot of teachers learn new skills in the classroom. So overall, it was a great experience, definitely worth the time, and actually I will be doing something similar to this again in the future, because I think it was very valuable, and it'll make me a better trainer too. Copyright acknowledgments. I need to give acknowledgments to How to HyperDoc, created by Nicole Beardsley, I used on my website. Also, this HyperDoc template was a great website. Gives you a bunch of different ones you can use in the classroom. And then the rest of them, these are all from the Google Learning Center. And then I used the 4 creative uses of Google Sheets in the classroom from the Classroom Ed Tech Teacher at this website. And that was it.